I think a small gift won't hurt you. This is an ebook called Capitalism 101 by Oni. Sarah Palin, who was then a vice presidential candidate, wrote, "I really liked it." And presidential candidate Michele Bachmann, who is a member of Congress, wrote, "Very cool and very necessary." Karl Rove, the architect of Bush's victory, sent me a letter. Everyone needs to be taught this. And Mayor Giuliani wrote, "We're on the same wavelength." And dozens of journalists and politicians also wrote that this is essential material for young people. Well, I'll say that it's not just for young people. I'm ready to send you two things absolutely free of charge. First, this very book itself, and second, the video project, A Roadmap to Freedom, which in an engaging and almost adventurous way shows how to build the life of a free society. Better than anything we've tried or built before. I've heard the cliche many times that democracy isn't perfect, but it's supposedly the best thing humanity has come up with. Allow me to completely refute that. Democracy isn't perfect mainly because historically it has always led to dictatorship. Well, let's say 49 people had to give up their property against their will because 51 people decided so, and the property went to those very 51 who made that decision, meaning the majority. Of course, in 47, people tried to resist. In 47, they tried not to give up their property. They were fined, imprisoned, killed. Money started to run out when in 49, people began to realize that they had almost nothing left. And then the screws were tightened more and more, and by 51, people started grumbling, asking, "Where is ours?" They had already gotten used to it. They used to receive things, but now they didn't. Why? Were the screws being tightened on them too? And then it's either the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics or Fascist Germany, Nazi Germany, or North Korea. And that's how it's been, ladies and gentlemen, for 6,000 years of our shared history. Take Karl Marx, for example. He created his own system. Take from everyone who has something and put it all in a common chest. The idea of controlling the common fund appealed to the lumpens and the bandits. And like mushrooms, parasites began to spring up in the state. Thomas Paine, a British subject as they say, moved to the United States of America and created his own system. The state does not rule, but serves the owner as a hired worker. The owners. That's us. And thus the United States of America emerged, followed by a number of other countries, what we call the free market. In the second half of the 20th century at the Los Angeles Institute of Free Enterprise, a professor of astrophysics who switched to philosophy, Andre Joseph Golambas, created his paradigm-shifting system. He called it a new science, that is, the science of the interaction of beings who possess freedom of choice or free will. What he says and what has reached us is a series of absolutely magnificent lectures by Diva G.S. Nelson turns the world upside down, and puts all our understanding of social relations on its head. This is what today becomes the foundation of a new model for improving the United States, a free market country cleansed of errors. Golambas. He took into account the mistakes made by the framers of our Constitution, and the new system is precise and accurate, like the laws of geometry and physics. He was a scientist, unlike many of those who wrote philosophical works, and he followed the path of scientific analysis and the scientific method of verification. And now, if you look below, you'll see a link to a gift. Enter your name and email and get Capitalism 101 in Russian. And starting tomorrow, there will be a 10-minute talk every day. I promise it will be interesting. With a simple, clear, and very engaging and informative explanation of this new system for humanity, which I would call market capitalism. Or maybe market democracy as opposed to political democracy. Subscribe if you're curious. It will be very interesting.